Hi, I'm Lauren. I was born and raised right outside of Chicago, and I was lucky enough to land in Youngstown. I've been telling stories since I was in high school, and I want to continue doing that right here.
My name is Mike Case, and I love this area. I grew up here, I went to school here, and I work here. Always have. Lauren and I both know there are so many good stories to tell and so many good people that deserve the spotlight. And this program allows us to do just that. Hey, good afternoon. We are back. Another edition of Valley Spotlight.
Good to be here. And once again, I have to say, Michael, sometimes when we're going over these story ideas of the things that we want to show people, I get so excited and I can't sleep at night. So
really?
I really do. I think about that much. Don't call me crazy.
I am sleeping a lot more these days. It's yes. Much better. Why don't we talk about the show a little bit? Why don't we start backwards and kind of work our way up?
Okay.
How about that?
Sounds good.
We have a story in Youngstown, in the Youngstown area, Trumbull County, Mahoney County, Columbia County, Mercer County. There's a festival every single weekend in the summertime. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yes.
And they're all fantastic.
Great
Food's
food.
Great,
yeah.
Music, dancing, and fun. But there's one festival at Youngstown State that has really stood the test of time. 20 years now for the Summer Festival of the Arts.
It's amazing, and the compilation of the people, it's all a juried selection process. Mm-hmm. So they take it pretty seriously, and the people that are a part of it are some of the best around. And they're not just from our area, right?
Yeah, no, they're from all over, Georgia and Tennessee too. Working our way back, what's Mark going to cook today?
Oh, this red-eye ribeye. And red-eye means it's got like a coffee rub to it. So it's to die for. And then he puts these onion rings on top of it that kind of make you want to cry a little bit because they're so good.
Not just when you cut them.
No.
Every chef, they say the ribeye is their favorite because it has the marbling and all that stuff. And then in Warren, there's a company that's been around for 30 years for a pretty good reason.
Yeah, an excellent reason. Backyard Buddy has been in the Warren area for 30 years. And when you're talking about a company that's been around in a fabricating and a steel environment in the area that we call home, we know that that means that they're standing the test of time.
Right, and we're going to learn about them too. Plus, we'll visit with Chad Cromer a little bit too and find out some more tips on buying and selling homes.
Yeah, we're going on location with Chad today.
Let's do it, and let's get started.
And so we're going to start with Backyard Buddy. Now, this is a business that sort of resembles a family, the best kind of family, an American family, especially as we celebrate our nation's birthday.
We've been in business for 30 years making these lifts, and we only get bigger and better.
Backyard Buddy is as American as it gets. This high-end car lift company, headquartered in Warren, Ohio, has stood the test of time.
Well, I mean, Northeast Ohio as a whole gets a bad rap because of all the steel industries, all the manufacturers that have come and gone through the years. And being a smaller business, it's very prideful that we've managed to make it through and still going strong.
As strong as the North American steel used to make these lifts, Matt Patrick is head of sales. The connection he has to the product he sells runs deep.
I'm very proud to work at Backyard Buddy. I'm very proud to represent an American-made product. A lot of companies in this country import everything, and basically it's a buy-sell. We actually manufacture. I'm very proud to represent a company that does manufacture in this country, not only manufacture in this country, but use all domestic material for manufacturing. It means a lot to me. My wife is a veteran of the United States Army, so being USA made is very important to us and our family.
And speaking of family, the people who work here every day value each other like family. Cindy Workman plays the role of mother in this place.
We're a family here. We all, work together to accomplish the same goal. And I think everybody really enjoys coming here because of the work environment and the product that we're producing.
As the director of operations, she oversees every aspect of this company, making sure its integrity is never compromised.
We pride ourselves on researching the vendors that we receive our steel, our tube, all of the components that go into the lift, that are all American-based companies using and manufacturing American parts for us to put in our American-made lifts.
This sense of pride resonates within the Backyard Buddy fabricating facility. For Brandon Scott, this is more than just a job. It has been a path to professional and personal success.
When I first started, I was a laborer out here, and I transitioned just about every spot out here before I moved up front. So, you know, providing for my family as I move up, you know, is a big part of it.
11 years later, he is now an expert in his field and has transitioned into selling Backyard Buddy lifts.
I think a good salesperson has to know everything about the product. You know, that way you can answer just about every question a customer may have.
Paul Lindak has spent the last 21 years working his way up to foreman. He too credits the success of this company to sticking to the highest of standards. American standards.
American-made product by American people with American everything. So that's what should be special.
Everything about our product is American-made, from the steel down to every little nut and bolt. So, you know, everything that's involved is, you know, right here in the USA. So it's a nice process the way it is. And we have a pretty good thing going here. And the fact that we're American-made actually, I think, is probably the main thing that's kept us in business for 30 years.
And when it comes to the next generation, the life lessons learned in places like Backyard Buddy will only make them stronger.
Coming up for me, both my parents worked. Like you said, that's a big part of the American, you know, tradition. So that work ethic was instilled in me. So hopefully I can also roll that over to my 3 sons. You know, that way, you know, they have that same work ethic that I had and that my parents had. And hopefully they can become good men.
And a big thank you to our friends at Backyard Buddy, a really great group of people there that, of course, are going to move on to bigger and better things. Check out their website, backyardbuddy.com. Always great deals there, Mike. Pretty impressive stuff to be here for 30 years.
What's that old saying about it's not really a job if you enjoy going to work? Seems like those folks really, really enjoy going to work, doesn't it?
They really do. They really do. You can feel it. I
need a Backyard Buddy to lift me up so I can talk to my brother eye to eye for the first time since we were 8. Would that be nice?
Dave is a very tall person.
He is very big.
He's a very big guy.
All right, tell him what's coming up next. We're going to visit with Mark again.
Yes, we are. And the Red Eye Ribeye is coming up. Don't be jealous. Don't worry. You'll be able to tape a couple of these things with him, too,
Yep,
right?
and we're going out on location with Chad and Next Home Realty.
Yes, we are. We'll be right back.
People think that, well, they have the same stuff they've always carried for years, and that is so not the case. I'm 33 and I shop here. I don't, you know, I love the boots, the sandals, the wedges.
It's a fair on the ground and in the air. It's the 6th annual Wings and Wheels at Sloat Airfield and the Ernie Hall Aviation Museum. Sunday, August 5th. Hundreds of classic, vintage, hot rod, and exotic cars, trucks, motorcycles, and of course, airplanes. Flybys all day long. Don't miss it.
No hot water? Call A to Z Dependable Services. Our fully stocked rapid response water heater specialist will get you back in hot water in no time. A to Z is the only call you need to make. Only A to Z.com.
We are back in the Bistro 1907 Test Kitchen, aka Mark Canzonetta's home. He has invited all of us to his home to see exactly how this process happens. Mark, first of all, thanks for having us.
Oh, it's an honor to have you guys here. It's great.
This is your element. This is your place. This is
we built this so we can both entertain and we can shoot things like this.
And
shoot videos.
I was gonna say, what you've got lined up here is tremendous. I cannot wait. So
yeah, so we're gonna do our red eye. We're gonna do our red eye ribeye. Typically, red eye means ham steak with red eye gravy, but we're gonna turn that into a ribeye, and we're gonna make that ribeye into a red eye ribeye. So we're gonna take this beautiful Angus prime ribeye. We're gonna do our signature 1907 coffee rub, and we're gonna be very generous with that coffee rub on top of it. And we're gonna press that in. One thing when you're cooking steaks at home, you wanna realize, you wanna bring that steak or that meat up to room temperature before you put it in the oven so it cooks evenly. So it's very important. We're gonna lay down some grapeseed oil.
Now, you are a big advocate for using locally sourced everything.
Exactly. So now we're going to put the ribeye in. Be careful when you're doing that at home, because as you just saw, it snapped on me. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to build layers of flavor. We're trying to build a bark on that. You can already smell that peppercorn. You can already smell that coffee. There's a little bit of garlic. We have some French sea salt in there, so it's going to be great. What we're trying to do is build that bark on there, build that layer of flavor, that layer of texture. We're going to flip it over. We're going to put it in the oven at 375 degrees to finish cooking, and then we're going to come back and make the red eye gravy, and we're going to make the onion rings that go with that. I mean, look at that beautiful. What we call in culinary terms, that's called the Maillard. That is the caramelization, the browning of the sugars and the proteins in the meat. So look at that beautiful color, and that's texture and flavor. So we're going to take that now. We're going to flip it, get rid of this. We're going to take this beautiful cast iron skillet, which has been in my family for about 100 years.
Now, how do you wash those things? Because I hear
just a little bit of soap, a little bit of water.
Not too much scrubbing, right?
Not too much scrubbing. You put it in the oven, and we're going to come back and make that beautiful red eye gravy and the onion rings that go on top.
Genius. This is why I hang out with him.
That's why I hang out with you. Cheers. So the ribeye's rested, it came out of the oven. Look at how the color is on that amazing steak. We're gonna add some garlic cloves to build some layers of flavor. We're gonna add some fresh thyme. We're gonna add a little bit more of that rub on the outside of the pan. A little bit of butter.
This looks so simple.
Does that look, because it is simple. Cooking is simple as long as you know the basics.
You really do. That's what I'm hoping people at home are gathering, because I, as you know, have always been overwhelmed by things like this.
Yeah.
You've always made it a lot simpler.
Yeah, so that's what we try to do. We try to teach simple techniques with great food. So now we're gonna deglaze with some bourbon. We might get a little fire there. So we're gonna pull this up. We're gonna probably get a little bit of fire.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Now we're gonna add some jus. This is our 24-hour bone broth. It is a key feature to everything that we're going to be doing at Bistro 1907. This is simmered for 24 hours.
Oh my goodness.
The richness, the depth of flavor. We're going to add some of that beef bone broth to this. Okay? We're going to bring that up to a boil. We have these beautiful tempura onion rings. The steak is cooked. Look at the crust on that steak. We're going to put these onion rings on the steak. This is the red eye ribeye. Look at how beautiful we're building this steak. Have you ever seen a steak like that?
I can't say that I have.
Garnish it with a little bit of chives. We're going to move this away. We have that sauce reducing in the pan. That red eye gravy with that beautiful 24-hour bone broth, the bourbon, the thyme, and now we're going to pour it over the top. And it's just going to be spectacular. Like something you've never tasted before. Lauren,
Mark,
look at this steak.
What the heck, man?
This is a great steak.
This is
my favorite steak ever.
You know,
ribeye has so much unctuous fat.
You know, I like hot dogs.
I know you like hot dogs.
This is not
we actually did a great April Fool's gag with hot dogs. So
your cookbook's over there.
I know, it is over there.
Your cookbook.
But I want you to taste this. Look at that perfect medium rare.
Look at
Dip it into the red eye gravy.
Okay. I follow orders.
I do. I'm going to take a piece, and then you're going to enjoy the crunch and the crisp of those tempura onion rings. Wow.
And that's why we're friends.
Exactly. And to build this dish with that bourbon cocktail,
cheers to you, my friend. Bistro 1907, downtown Youngstown, Mark Canzonetta.
Absolutely.
Make a reservation.
Red eye ribeye.
Absolutely great stuff. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. What do you think about that?
I know. Are you a medium rare girl?
Yes.
Aren't you? I'm a medium, just a medium.
I was going to say, do you still put A1 on things?
No, but I used to when I was a kid.
I know he did.
All the time. I dunked my bread in it and everything. So check them out, Bistro 1907.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about lasers now. Not the kind from the recent Han Solo movie that we all picture when we think about lasers. There's some that are just so precise now, they use them in plastic surgery. So let's talk about a new technique that gets rid of those imperfections. So next time you look into the mirror, like I am about to right now, you won't see anything. Well, Well, we've all done it. We look in the mirror and figure out all the blemishes and things we would like to change about ourselves. Well, maybe this will help today. Dr. Gentile's here talking about a couple of revolutionary treatments. And the newest one, Dr. G, is called?
Discovery Pico.
Discovery Pico,
Yes.
which is relatively new.
Discovery Pico is a laser, released in the last year, but the technology's been around for about 4 years.
Okay. Why is it so great? Why are people raving about it?
Pico refers to the length of the laser pulse, and so it was originally developed for tattoo removal, in that a shorter pulse would give better efficacy at removing the tattoo. Then they noticed for skin rejuvenation, it was doing incredible sort of changes with pigment, texture, and tone, and so then it became equally as important for skin rejuvenation as tattoo removal. So that's when we got on board, because we've been involved in skin rejuvenation since the early 90s, and so this was a new adjunct to give people a quick recovery option for a really substantial result.
Yeah, what have the results been, and what are people saying?
The results have been, basically, you might be a little red, the evening or the next day. So the recovery aspects are very good. That's why it's very popular in big metro areas. Pico facials are incredibly popular. The results for removing pigment are excellent. And of course, we also use it for tattoo removal, and it's doing a super job for that.
People are excited?
People are excited. We're excited too, because we have that option. Most of our patients want things that work, but they want to work and not have a lot of downtime associated with the treatment. This fits that model of effective but quick recovery.
Let's move down to other parts of the body and talk about sculpture.
Sculpture is very interesting technology. It was introduced about 3 years ago when we got it, but it's very popular. It does contouring of small areas, either arms, legs, across the waist, love handles, and many patients have heard of like cool sculpting, but this is not cryo. We're not freezing the fat. Actually, the laser heats the fat. So it's a very interesting kind of development and high patient satisfaction with our sculpture.
Best candidates for this treatment are?
Best candidates are patients. It's not a solution for being overweight, but if you're fit and you have this area that just won't go away and you work out, yeah. And then in some patients it does work if you're just slightly overweight, but it's not really a weight reduction option, but it's a contouring option for patients that have some pockets that they've developed recently. And we see patients of all ages, but it's more common maybe after your 40s.
Does it come back? Does that kind of fat come back?
It can never come back. The interesting thing about fat cells is we're born with a certain number of fat cells, and then when they're gone, they're not replaced. So, however, if you gain weight, it'll go to different areas. So we have to advise patients about those prospects.
Got to be careful.
Can't eat cheesecake after doing sculpture.
Well, just not as much.
Not as much, right?
Give them the website in case they're interested and want to find out more information.
Facialplastics.org, and we're located in Boardman, right in front of Applewood Acres, on 821 Kentwood.
Yep, there you go, right on 224, right behind the mattress room. So see, maybe next time you put your face up to this mirror, things will look even better. And Dr. Gentile kind of alluded to it in the piece. There's more and more people getting tattoos.
Yep.
More people that have tattoos that are getting extra tattoos. So sometimes you want a different one or take away those imperfections. So that laser takes care of that too.
Yeah, pretty simple stuff. He makes it look so cool too.
All right, next up, we're taking the show on the road.
We are. Chad Cromer and I, we're going to go on location today for our Home Advantage segment. All the things that you should be paying attention to when you first see a home. All the things that buyers probably looking at, and then all the things the experts are looking at. That's coming up next. Well, we can't do our Home Advantage segment without our good friend Chad Cromer and a really beautiful home. You're not so bad either.
Oh, thanks. I was going to say, talking about beautiful, I was going to say, how we doing?
Thank you very much, Chad. So this home, as you look at it, as somebody like me who's, the buyer, and you would be the real estate agent, I'm looking at how beautiful it is. I'm looking at the front door and the landscaping and the lighting, and I'm just thinking to myself, there's nothing that could be wrong with this, right?
Well, there could be some things wrong with it, but more importantly, you want to know why it's here and how it's going to function. Obviously the roof is brand new. You could tell you want to make sure it's installed properly from a local contractor and what kind of warranties go with them. Everyone likes the beautiful uplighting that you can't see right now, but how does it go on? Is it on a timer or is it on a sensor? This one's by a sensor. You can see it on the downspout line here. And obviously in the lush green grass that everyone has here, there must be a sprinkler system.
Right.
How do we see it? The brains are right there in the rock landscaping, and that's how everything functions on the outside here.
So those are the things that you're looking at for somebody like me who's just blown away by how beautiful it is.
Absolutely.
So Chad, as people are walking around home, what are the other kinds of things that you're paying attention to that maybe after hearing this, they'll be paying attention to as well?
Well, probably from the front door to the back door, there's not much going on as far as a consumer, but what I'm looking at, for example, would be, you know, this property is sloping towards the street. It's going away from the house, which is nice. Heavy rains, it's going to end up down there instead of in your basement. And then also I could see these dark spots. What that probably tells me is that at some point there was some concrete leveling. This is a telltale sign for that.
All right, we've made it to the back of the home. So Chad, you're noticing things, again, things that I would never have even thought of, to be honest with you.
Well, it's 15 years in the business of the trained eye. So, you know, what I always like to point out to people is driving skills a little bit. Got a 3-car garage here. Sometimes there are 3 single stalls. Sometimes it's one big 3-car door. Obviously, it's easier to park these cars the wider the doors. So yeah, be aware of that.
No kidding. That's something that I need to be referencing for sure. I hit everything in sight. All right, so the landscaping, I'm noticing the lack thereof in this home, and what are you seeing?
So obviously with the landscaping, what a lot of people see is, yes, it's a project, but it's usually considered sweat equity. It's something the couple can do themselves. In reality, it's probably a bigger expense than you think. To put in a paver patio or something to those sorts, it could be pretty expensive. So you want to make sure you know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, price it out before you probably even make the offer. And last but not least, I have a dog. I love her to death. I would think, oh, okay, all I have to do is just put in a fence.
Right. And again, usually typically what we know is the rule of thumb. It's about $50 a foot for material and everything installed. So the fence in the backyard here, you're probably $15,000 to $20,000. Got to make sure you're aware of those.
Chad, all I can say is thank you for pointing out all the things that we probably wouldn't have noticed, and good to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If you suffer from snoring or sleep apnea, wake up. The Sleep Easy Dental Spa has created a simple oral sleep device that is life-changing.
A lot of our patients have had a CPAP and either can't wear it or hate it.
Well, I was looking for alternative therapies for years, but I heard about the Sleep Easy dental appliance, and I gave that a try, and voila, it works like magic.
This custom-fit sleep device is covered by most insurance plans and Medicare. Call today for your free consultation. The Sleep Easy Dental Spa. Sleep better tonight. Enjoy life tomorrow.
Bistro 1907 is a classic yet unique American bistro. This space lets us immerse ourselves in history. The dishes are inspired by our past but have a modern twist. Bistro 1907 by Mark Canzanetta is unlike any place else. Find out why. I'm Mark Canzanetta, and I welcome you to Bistro 1907.
Welcome back to Valley Spotlight. A 20th anniversary. What's the gift? Well, I looked it up. The traditional gift is China. While you wouldn't get the Summer Festival of the Arts a bunch of dinner plates, they have been serving up a heaping helping of the arts to the community for the last 20 years. It's that time of year again when you'll hear sounds like Alex Miller's saxophone echoing throughout the campus of Youngstown State.
It is the 20th year of the Summer Festival of the Arts.
This will be the 17th year Lori Factor has been putting this festival together.
I come into it with a fresh perspective every year because I want it to be the same, but I want it to be fresh too.
What makes it stand the test of time is that the performers have to be accepted to participate, making the quality of work top-notch.
When the artists come, they can't just rent a table. They actually have to apply with their images, and we have 2 jurors. I am not on the jury, but we have 2 jurors who actually evaluate every single application that comes in.
Noreen Yazvac is one of those artists. This will be her 3rd year showing her stuff. She still remembers the first time she was accepted and won the Best in Show in her very first year.
Oh my gosh, it was like amazing to me. I was so proud when I did build up my art pieces. I was able to submit an application and go through the jury process, and when I was selected, I was just overwhelmed and happy.
You may have seen Noreen's work in the community. Even though she can paint just about anything in any medium, she's known for these angels, which she paints on tile to get a very distinct and colorful look.
I never saw an angel before, but in my mind, I think of them as beautiful creatures, and I think of them with color, inks made with alcohol. And you don't use water, you use rubbing alcohol to dilute them and make them flow. And I was just instantly attracted to them. I just had to do more and more.
Meanwhile, Alex is just as talented. He's one of the performing artists this year.
It's an honor to perform to any amount of people, but it's also an honor to be able to play. So anything that allows me to do what I love is amazing.
This recent YSU grad plays 9 different instruments and may try the ukulele next. He also composes his own music and wants to teach in the future. But for now, he's just excited about the biggest festival of the year.
Music is my whole life, and I try to give it my all in every performance, and I think the people who hear me play can notice that. 'Cause, I mean, I'm sweating, I'm just going, I'm just playing whatever comes to my mind from my heart. So I think the audience is very perceptive in noticing that in people.
That's not the only noticing that will be done. The patrons, even the artists, realize that this town has an arts community that deserves some recognition.
Take a little closer look at us, because there really is a great arts community, and both of the fine arts and the performing arts, because it's a little bit of both. It's a good mix, which is what we try to do at the Summer Festival of the Arts. This is just a really component part, so if we can open that window through the arts to come and really take a close look at YSU, then we've accomplished some of our mission.
After 20 years, mission accomplished. And when you team it all up with the Greek Summerfest, gyros, I love gyros, you got a real winner. If you're wondering about the artists that we saw there, Alex's band, this new band they're putting together for the Summerfest, is called Narget, Target with the GN in front of it. And Noreen's, all her wares are on her Facebook page, so check her out.
Narget, huh?
Narget, yeah.
That's a word I
think the bass player
today.
thought of that, and they still don't know what it means. I'm sure they'll figure it out. So
check this out.
Got an update.
Cup date.
A cup date. There it goes.
A cup date. We brought you a story that featured Lulu Beans Cafe in Sharon, PA, and this is some video of the day that the giant cappuccino mug went up on the roof, and it is, when you drive past it, it's something to see.
That's like over 1,000 pounds up on the roof, right?
It really is. Hand-painted mug, and it just lures people in to just go and try the really great, fresh, healthy, flavorful food. You had something there, right?
What was it? The Incredible Burger, or the Not Really a Burger. It was some good stuff.
Yes, it was.
All right, that's it for this edition of Valley Spotlight. How can you find us if you missed it?
ValleySpotlight.com, or like us on our Facebook page. You can catch all of the episodes and all the segments there, and please feel free to share them, because the stories are, we think they're pretty good, right?
I think they're good, and we could use some more. So thanks very much. See you next time.